Hello, everybody. What's up? Philly fans are elated with the Paul George signing. The way those folks are acting, you would think they just landed the best player in the NBA. We got more free agency stuff to get into, so let's talk about the biggest storyline around the NBA because this has been a busy offseason so far. Just last night, while you were probably sleeping, Paul George agreed to a 4-year, $212 million max contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. George's deal, which sources said includes a player option on the final season in 2027, 2028, brings him back to the Eastern Conference to partner with MVP big man Joel Embiid and all-star guard Tyrese Maxey. And congratulations to Maxey, by the way, who agreed to a 5-year, $204 million max extension today as well. After agreeing to a deal with Paul George, the Sixers are 8-1 behind the Celtics and the Denver Nuggets to win the title. Man, you're talking about a guy who does everything at an elite level, but when healthy. Keyword here, health. He's got to stay healthy. And what do they often say? The best ability is availability. And see, you like this deal now, but when he chokes up in the playoffs or miss a chunk of games, then you Philly folks will be ready to run him out of town. I think it's an overpay. I said that earlier today. I think it's an overpay, but the Sixers were the only team that could show him the money. And he went wherever the money was. And this is what Paul George wanted, a max contract, and the Sixers were the only team able to give it to him. He's not just a scorer. He can defend at a high level. Like think about this signing for a second. Overpay, an injury-prone type player, a guy who has gone missing during the playoffs. I mean, that's my only concern with him. If he doesn't pan out, that's a pretty expensive contract to be stuck with. How he fits with Maxey and Embiid, well, he doesn't need the ball in his hands on every possession. He's an efficient scorer. He can take over in some games. He commands such a presence because of his ability to get up and down the floor, which is great, right? Really, what the question comes down to is if he can stay on the court and have a more productive playoff stretch in terms of scoring and defending. Obviously, you hope he comes through in clutch moments and do it well on a consistent basis. Consistency. It matters, folks. Right now, think about it, because he's done it numerous times in the playoffs where he disappeared in a hot flash. I know I'm not the only one who has noticed it. I know a lot of you have noticed it as well. And they don't need a guy who's going to disappear, particularly if Joel Embiid is not healthy. I thought he was a magician with all the disappearing acts he pulled. So that's something to take into consideration when talking about Paul George joining the Sixers. Yes, you have Paul George, but everything hinges on Joel Embiid's health. If Joel Embiid can ever stay healthy with Paul George and Tyrese Maxey, this could be the biggest threat in the East outside of the Celtics. And people are going, oh, Paul George is the missing piece in Philly and all of this other stuff. That's only if he can stay healthy, folks. Now, I can say last season was encouraging because what he did last season, he did play 74 games last season? But it's what happens in the playoffs that concerns me. You can't count on him in the playoffs. He looks great in 1 or 2 games, but then he takes nights off, becomes inconsistent. All year, he's good. The playoffs come, He's good for one amazing game where he looks unguardable. Then he'll go ghost for the next 5 games. I'm I'm never gonna be the type to doubt Joel Embiid when he's healthy. We all know how lethal he is when he's on the court, how dangerous he can be, how dominant he can be, how he eat up guys for lunch and all that. We know that. Last season, he was my early favorite to win the MVP. I saw a guy who looked hungry. I saw a guy who was clearly on a mission until he got hurt. And when he does well, the Celtics have no answer for him. And now you plug in Paul George and you got a player who can score, defend, and be a factor on both ends. It's undeniably how magical this could possibly end up being. And when you think about this Philly team, this is the moment. The Sixers have a blossoming superstar in Tyrese Maxey, showcasing all-star potential. And when you pair those three, Embiid, Maxey, and PG, you have a big three. I mean, you look at Paul George, he's a proven all-star. Not a championship winner, no, but, you know, not everybody is. And you go even further with it, he's going to have hiccups, his ups and downs. We see it all the time with Paul George. But seriously, we know this about him, that he can go get you 25 to 30 points. You have Joel Embiid, who was about to lead the league in scoring until he missed too many games. The way Tyrese Maxey played last season, he has earned his bag. You know, he has earned his money. And then you add Paul George, where you go, okay, now they have that third star where they can really challenge the Boston Celtics in the East. I think if everything goes smooth, if everything goes well, the Sixers can be the biggest threat to the Celtics. Sixers and Paul George are a perfect match. There was only one team that could give Paul George a max contract, and it was no secret that George was the player the Sixers coveted. This was the one place that Paul George could go to, and the Sixers gave him what he wanted. They gave him everything, and you know, they whispered nice things in his ear, and then Paul George went for it. He said, why not? Yes, I teamed up with Kawhi Leonard. Now I can leave. You know, I earned my right to leave. I'm going to Philly. Ever since Philly traded James Harden at the beginning of last season, they were going for cap space this summer. There was only one max free agent they showed interest in. It was Paul George. The fit is ideal because you're in the Eastern Conference where you play against teams like Boston and New York, and you see what the Celtics and Knicks have built. You need a quality wing player that can play both ends of the court. Based off the current state of free agency and knowing what was possible, the Sixers essentially look good on paper already. They look really good on paper. Now, there's still room to add to this roster, no doubt, but Daryl Morey has done a fantastic job this offseason. I give him an A+ so far. I give him an A+ for everything he's done this offseason. They are winning this offseason. But just in regards to getting a prototypical wing who can play off the ball or create his own shot, all I can really say that adding a guy like that elevates your team. So we shall see. They got their guy, they added a wing and a center, so naturally it's a solid fit. I'm still iffy about him and think it's a bit of an overpay, but the Sixers obviously thought he was worth it and believe Paul George is that final piece on what may be a championship team in the East. Hey guys, I really appreciate it. It's been real, but I'm getting out of here now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate the love and support. That's so freaking awesome. You guys are awesome. It's been fun chatting with you all year. It's been a great year so far. It's July 1st, and I'm going to keep coming with the content. I'm going to keep pushing out stuff for you guys. I really appreciate the love, guys. I'm out of here now. You guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. Take care, everyone.